I'd like to talk a little bit about memory problems associated with being schizotypal. As I am schizotypal personality disordered, and this does affect my memory in a lot of ways. Okay, and I think it's important to understand how a mental disorder can impair somebody's memory in ways that normal people have trouble understanding. And I'll give you a good example of this. My Aunt Veda, she's deceased now. She used to sew a lot of clothing for me when I was a kid, okay, and when I was a young adult as well. And sometimes she sewed some very, very nice, very pretty garments for me, very pretty dresses. People would sometimes remark on, boy, you got your money's worth out of that dress. Okay. Now, she had given me, I was staying over at her place. She had given me a new dress. After I wore that dress, I immediately dropped it into the laundry, okay? And she was deeply offended by this because it was a good dress and I should have hung it up. I had only worn it very briefly and I should have hung it up and, saved it for another day, okay? And my aunt said she just dropped it like it was a piece of trash. And she was very hurt by it and very offended by it. What she didn't understand or know, although I tried to tell her about this, was the reason that I developed this habit of always, after I wore something, always putting it in laundry. And that is, before I had this habit, my mother complained that I was wearing and re-wearing and re-wearing my clothes until they smelled bad. And the reason for this is I could not remember from one day to another. It was impossible for me to remember that I had worn a garment or not worn it. Okay? And this, that is just one example of how the memory can be affected by schizotypal personality disorder. Okay? And I hope you enjoyed what you heard and will subscribe to my channel.